What's going on, guys? Welcome to episode 5 of Football Talk. I am coming at you Wednesday, September 25th. That is right. We are almost through the month of September, and tomorrow's my birthday. How about that? 26th, as the Rams and 49ers will play that night, as well as some other games. I forgot who exactly is playing in the NCAA tomorrow night, but it should be a good game no matter what. Whoever plays. So, moving on, my good old friend Kyle will not be. I'm sorry about the background noise. I had to move my notes around. My good old friend Kyle will not be joining us this week due to the fact that he is actually at an interview right now to get a job. So, shout out to good old Kyle. Good old shout out right there for you, buddy. Good luck and good night. Right? Good luck and good night. That is not the movie right now. It is real life. And so the NFL Week 3 saw some pretty shocking losses from other teams and some pretty big wins from other teams. It was really one of those weeks that you're like, wow, that really happened. And Fantasy Week, I finally won again in fantasy, two wins in a row. Kyle, I believe, won. And my good old friend Mark lost his third straight game. But week three was interesting. Week 3 was one of those weeks in football where you saw, people throwing interceptions that shouldn't be throwing interceptions, like Aaron Rodgers. You have people like the Browns getting a win. I'll go over that in a second. And then you have, Brady finally getting back on track. So, different things happening. In the world of NCAA, you had squash matches going on, WWE kind of mentality going on. 77 was the average score from the weekend, 77 points that is, and the average margin of victory was like 8 touchdowns, it was 5 touchdowns. 5 touchdowns was the average win among some of the top 25 teams. So jumping into scores from Week 3 from the NFL. Last Thursday, we had the Kansas City Chiefs taking on Philadelphia. Kansas City walked in to Philadelphia on Andy Reid's homecoming and won 26-16. This game was fantastic. I was so happy for the Chiefs to get their third win in a row to start the season 3-0. That's pretty awesome to me. Kansas City got a big win. I was happy for him. Andy Reid, it was kind of just due. But moving on from Thursday night. Packers and Bengals squared off in Cincinnati. Cincinnati wearing their orange uniforms that they only wear on special occasions. So, playing the Packers, of course, is going to be special because it's the Packers. Why not? The Bengals picked up a win 34-30 against the Green Bay Packers. I was very surprised, but it also came down to a bad call. Not play calling, but ref calling. The final touchdown that the Bengals scored, not the fumble return, but the touchdown to make it where they scored was like an illegal forward pass that was not called, illegal forward toss. Something happened in one of the last 2 scores that should not have happened. But I'm used to seeing the Packers get screwed. The Fail Mary last year and Anquan Bolden. Randall Cobb getting owned Week 1 and getting pushed down on the ground, held down on the ground, which should have been delay of game on the defense because they do call that. Don't you dare say they don't call that because they do call it. It just happens that they don't call it, whatever they should. But moving on, the Falcons gave up a second half lead to the Dolphins. The Dolphins shocked the world and went 3-0, beating the Falcons 27-23 in Miami. That was fantastic. I would love that game. It was a great game. It's 2020 at half, and then second half, I believe at third quarter, the Falcons got up, and they kind of blew it. The Falcons are hurt; they have a lot of injuries, but I think Dolphins are a little bit better than the Falcons are, anyways. But we'll see how it's only Week 3, so there's really no big shocker. Heck, 2 years ago, you had 3 years ago. You had, or no, maybe it was 4 or 5. Actually, I'm sorry, I'm brain dead. School, college does a lot of stuff to you. Does a lot of things to you. I'm slurring my words today too. I've been having a hard time talking whenever I have to actually talk to people for some reason. I guess it's from all the video games. But Buffalo was 5-0 and then they lost 11 straight. So you really can't tell some of these undefeated teams. You really don't know until you get about midseason. Fifth week is whenever you know if they'll make the playoffs or not. So we'll see. We got 2 more weeks. Dallas was at home against St. Louis, and they won handily, 31-7 over the Rams. Tennessee played at home against the Chargers, and I called it. Tennessee wins 20-17. That was a great game. There was actually a lot of back and forth. Tampa Bay headed into New England and got their butts kicked 23-3. As Josh Freeman was benched today and Mike Glennon was put over him as starter, which I'm happy about Mike Glennon because I think Glennon and Cousins will be studs in the NFL. I like Mike Glennon because he went to NC State, and why can I not root for NC State? You cannot root against Wolfpack unless you're a North Carolina fan. Then Tar Heels, you should probably get out. But then the real shocker, I think, that everybody was kind of like, wow, the Browns went into Minnesota and won against the Vikings 31-27 over a rookie. He went ham. He went ham. And then Cameron, their tight end, went ham too. And they're doing like trick stuff. They're doing trick field goals. They're doing trick punts. It was actually a really good game. And I was surprised that Cleveland got the win. Especially after people said to start every single Minnesota Viking that you could possibly do. Ponder had 2 touchdowns on the ground. And we'll get to another quarterback that had some touchdowns on his feet too. Actually, 2. There's also 2 other shocking kind of victories that I saw this week. Cleveland Cleveland won. It was sad to see the Vikings go 0-3, but again, we'll see what happens. The year is definitely still young, and we'll see how these teams kind of cope and get back on foot. New Orleans took care of business in the Superdome, winning 31-7 over Arizona. Drew Brees threw 2 touchdowns to Jimmy Graham and completely dominated. Really, he really did dominate, honestly. Washington and Detroit played in Washington. Detroit forced the Redskins to go 0-3 to start the season, as Detroit wins 27-20 over RG 0-3. So, they should have put Cousins in the game no matter what. That's what I think. They should have put Cousins in no matter what. Day one, done it. They should have done it. No matter what, just do it. Put Cousins in, let him run that offense until RG3 feels better, and there you go. Defense is they're on the field too much at this point, and that's why they're losing so many games because they're getting tired. Detroit looked good. Megatron, of course. Matthew Stafford's a good quarterback. He's definitely one of the better quarterbacks in the league, I would say. Baltimore, yeah, they took care of business against the Houston Texans, winning 30-9. I wanted Houston to win, but Baltimore, their defense. Ray Lewis was in the stadium, so why not? That was just energized. They were ready to go, so they won. They won. The Giants and Carolina played each other this weekend. Last year they met, Giants won. This year they met in Carolina, the Panthers won. But the Panthers did not just win. The Panthers owned the New York Giants. Carolina won 38-0 over New York, okay? There's something wrong in Giant Land. East Rutherford is green right now because the Jets have a better record than the Giants do. The Jets have a better record. The Jets, Jets, Jets have a better record, okay? They have a better record than a lot of people, but Carolina beat them. And Cam Newton had 4 total touchdowns. He rushed for 3, I believe, and threw for 2 or 1. So, it was either 2-2 or 3-1. So, they killed him. That Eli's trying to do too much. He does not trust his defense. He's trying to do too much. And that brings me to the Jets game. The Jets took care of their division opponent, the Buffalo Bills, 27-20 as Geno and EJ squared off. It was actually a really good game, solid game. I really enjoyed it. At least seeing the highlights. I didn't actually get to watch it. But Geno's looked good. He looked decent. He looked a lot better than he did against the Patriots, especially in the fourth quarter. But they still won. So again, East Rutherford is green right now. It's green. New York fans are rooting for the Jets now, right now, at least. San Francisco, San Francisco and the Colts faced each other this weekend. And it was in Candlestick. And good old Kaepernick, and the 49er offense sucked it up, and they lost 27-7. The Colts beat the 49ers in Candlestick. I mean, that's a big deal because the Colts, they have a decently bad offensive line, but and the San Francisco has one of the better defenses in the league, and then they basically own them, honestly. Kaepernick's having a little bit of problems right now. I don't know what's up with Kaepernick. I'm not going to say anything. I'm not hating on him or anything like that. So we'll see what happens this next week as they face the Rams coming up. But it's surprising to me to see them to get beat that bad. But was not surprising to see somebody get beat that bad. As Jacksonville headed into CenturyLink Field in Seattle, as the Seahawks beat the Jaguars 45-17. I'm not really going to talk about that game that much because we all knew the Jaguars were going to lose, and they did. So Pittsburgh and Chicago played. This game, Chicago ended up winning 40-27, 17-point spread. But actually, 17-point spread, yeah. But the Pittsburgh almost came back. They at one point it was only 27-20. So I mean, it was a lot closer of a game than the final score said. Again, Pittsburgh looks bad on offense. Chicago looks lucky on offense. Jay Cutler is still a douche. So there's really nothing getting past that. Really, it was on Sunday Night Football, so it wasn't a bad game. And then Denver and Oakland faced off on Monday Night Football on ESPN. Denver They won 37-21 over Oakland. So no, it did not come down to a Janikowski field goal like I said it would. But it was worth it. It was actually a decent game. Denver's going up against the best defense in the league at this moment. Again, 2 weeks. That was the third week. I think Denver will fizzle. I mean, I don't think they'll go undefeated. I think they may be one of those teams that go, 15-1 or 14-2, get the bye week and then get beat bad in the playoffs. I could see it. I could really see it because you get burnt out eventually. I think they may be starting off too hot at this point. I think Peyton Manning's going for like his 4th or 5th MVP at this point. They pretty much have already said that he's going to be MVP. I don't agree with that. I think season again is too young to really tell, but Broncos go 3-0. So transitioning. Sorry, let me take a drink. All right, transitioning over into Week 4 matchups around the league of the NFL. Packers are on their bye week. I believe a couple other teams are too. Oh, my nose itches. But tomorrow night on NFL Network, St. Louis and the 1-2 49ers will face off as Kaepernick heads in to St. Louis to possibly bounce back from that devastating loss to the Colts and to the Seahawks. They really need to win this game to really keep themselves in pace to possibly win this division. And picks-wise, I'm going to say San Francisco will win just because I think Harbaugh, if they do lose, it won't surprise me. Not because Kaepernick, not because of the slump or anything like that. But if they do lose, I could see it. But if they win, I'll be happy. Not like happy, but, I'll be happy because I picked them to win. So I think San Francisco will probably win. We'll come back to the Sunday night game. Let's see. CBS at 1 o'clock. Buffalo and Baltimore face off at the Ralph Wilson Stadium. I'm going to pick the Bills. They got home field advantage. And I think that the Baltimore defense really isn't as good as the Houston Texans made them look last week. But we'll see. I think Buffalo will probably win this game. I'm just saying just because I believe in the Bills, just because I like E.J. Manuel a lot. I like Stevie Johnson. I like C.J. Spiller. He's from Clemson. I mean, why not? He's ACC football. So is E.J. Manuel. So I'm going to go with the Buffalo Bills. That may be like my main upset of the week is Buffalo. Maybe Detroit game. Maybe the Detroit game. We'll get to that here in a minute. I'm going to pick Buffalo. I'll go with the home team. That's a hard place to go and play. That's a very hard place to go and play. So I'm picking Buffalo. Cincinnati and Cleveland, I'm going to pick Cincinnati. I have their defense in fantasy, and I think they'll do a lot better than the Vikings did, honestly. I think their offense is a little bit better. And I think their quarterback is just a little bit better than Ponder. I like Ponder a lot, but I think that Andy Dalton has done a lot more, and he's done a lot better, honestly. So I'm going to pick the Cincinnati Bengals to win that game going into Cleveland. So it's always a hard place to play. And this is a pretty big rivalry because, Jim Brown, not Jim Brown. Is it Jim Brown or Mike Brown? One of the Browns left the Browns, and he went to Cincinnati and made the team. So they pretty much hate each other. So we'll see what happens. Chicago and Detroit play each other in Detroit at Ford Field. I'm gonna pick Detroit to play the upset, even though they lost Nate Burleson because he broke his arm trying to protect his pizza from falling out of his front seat while we're driving his car today. I'm picking Detroit. Sorry, yeah, that was actually yesterday. I'm picking Detroit to win this game just because I don't want the Bears to do any better than what they're doing right now. And Detroit and them would be tied for first place in the AFC North. Not AFC, NFC North. So when was the last time that ever happened? Honestly, I don't even remember the first time they have been tied for first place. If that was to happen. So I'm going to pick Detroit. The Giants and Kansas City play each other in Kansas City Arrowhead. I'm picking the Chiefs to go 4-0 against a terrible Giants team. And I'm picking the Giants to go 0-4. That's what I'm going to say. But Chiefs, I think, will win this game just because I think their offense is a lot more ground and pound than the Panthers are. And if they couldn't even stop the Panthers, then and I think the defense of the Chiefs is a lot better with Landon Fletcher on the side. Is it Landon Fletcher? No, Lamar Houston. I think Landon Fletcher used to play for him. He may still do it. But Lamar Houston's a beast on the edge, so I'm picking him to get some sacks on Eli. So I'm picking the Chiefs to go 4-0. Minnesota and Pittsburgh. One team will walk away with a win, and I'm going to pick the Minnesota Vikings to walk away with a win because they're in the Metrodome, or it used to be the Metrodome. Since they're about to leave, I believe, after this season, they get a new stadium. I'm picking Minnesota to win because, I don't know. I think Minnesota will probably win this game just because the Pittsburgh offense can't do anything. They got some touchdowns. Finally got some touchdowns Sunday night, but they didn't. I was picking Minnesota to win. I'm all NFC North except for the Chicago and the Vikings and the Lions. I really can't root for any of them because I'm a Packer fan, but I'll root for the Lions and Vikings before I sell my soul to the devil and root for the Bears. So I think Minnesota will win. But I want Pittsburgh to win also just because my dad's a Pittsburgh fan. But whoever wins this game, I'm picking Minnesota to win. But I think whoever wins this game will be on the turn of the edge and be going in the right direction. Whoever loses this game will just not do anything at all this year. Arizona heads into Tampa Bay to take on the Buccaneers. I'm going to pick Tampa Bay with Mike Glennon at the helm. Just because they get home field advantage and they're 0-3, and I think Greg Schiano is a great coach. And I think Mike Glennon, he may be rocky at the first little bit of the game, maybe about halftime. And these are all in my opinion, folks. All these picks are in my opinion. So, in my opinion, by the way. So Mike Glennon, I think he'll have a good game. He has a great arm. He has great accuracy. He's great vision, honestly. You should saw what he did at NC State. Actually, you can't see what he did at NC State. Go and click on my NC State Dynasty and watch the first season worth of play, and you'll see what he did. That's just a fun plug into my own series. But that Arizona defense is very tough to play. Their cornerbacks are great, Matthew and Peterson. But I think Mike Glennon will be good, and I think what's his name? Doug Martin will get off to a right foot. I think he finally needs to get into his groove and go and do his stuff. Indianapolis and Jacksonville play each other. I'm picking the Colts to win in Jacksonville. Again, it's Jacksonville, and it's the Colts with a great running game. I'm going to pick the Colts to win unless they completely collapse. After that win against San Francisco, you got to know they're going to be hyped. And they have Turner Richardson now, so they have great defense. So Seattle and Houston play each other. I'm picking the Seahawks to win. Even though they're going into Reliant Stadium, I think their cornerbacks, they have one of the best secondaries in the league, if not the best. I'm going to pick Seattle to win that game, even though they're going to be going up against my Houston Texans. The Jets and Titans play each other this weekend in Tennessee. I'm going to pick the Jets. Even though I think Tennessee may win this game, I'm going to pick the Jets to win because I think that Geno is starting to get into his role as a quarterback and really kind of see how the defenses are reacting to him and seeing how they're really playing out. He had some really good throws on Sunday, just from what I was able to see from the highlights. I think that I think the Jets will win, but I think Titans may win at the same time, just because they're really scrappy and they're actually a decent team. Jake Locker's actually stepped up. He's gotten a couple rushing touchdowns and really kind of put it to the man, Philadelphia and Denver play each other in the Mile High. I'm picking Denver to win just because I think that Philadelphia defense isn't as good as everybody thinks it is. And since their offense goes so, I think it will be a shootout at that, okay? It will be a shootout. And I think that Philadelphia, their defense is too tired by the third quarter because they're on defense so much. And the Denver offense is so Jesus at this point because Peyton Manning decided to actually play for once instead of slacking off like he usually does. I enjoy Peyton Manning a lot. I'm just saying that because he's on Denver and I hate John Elway. I absolutely cannot stand the man. He's the vice president of whoever for them. So, but yeah. So I'm picking Denver to win that game. Washington and Oakland play each other. Okay, here we go. If they put Cousins in, they win the game. If they don't put Cousins in, Oakland wins the game. Honestly, I'm just gonna say that. That's where I'm gonna leave it. I'm gonna pick Oakland to win. If Cousins is not in the game, if Cousins is in the game, I think Cousins will pick apart that Oakland defense. It's because I think Cousins is a good quarterback. So Oakland wins that game, and the Redskins RG3 goes 0-4. Sorry, RG 0-4 at this point. He had a son. Dallas and San Diego in Qualcomm. 4 o'clock game, which is like a 1 o'clock game out there. Oh man, that San Diego defense, man. I'm gonna pick the Bolts. I'm gonna pick the Bolts to win. Kyle's gonna hate me for it. I picked Cowboys like the last three weeks. I'm gonna pick the Bolts to win, just because I think they may do better. It wouldn't surprise me to see the Dallas win, but I think Bolts will win on a Steve Novak, on a kick, on a field goal, because they've won. They've either lost by 3 or won by 3 the last couple weeks. So, picking San Diego. Sunday night we have the Patriots heading in to the Georgia Dome to play the Falcons. And I'm going to say Patriots will win this game on the road. Just because the Falcons will get up, maybe 20 points second quarter because they always come out really fast. And then Brady's going to pick them apart the last 3 quarters and they're going to win by a touchdown. So Patriots will win that game. Just because that Falcons team is beat up. That Falcons team is definitely beat up. Definitely beat up. Monday Night Football on ESPN, 8:30 start time with Monday Night Countdown starting at 7:30. Look at that good old intro for you guys right there. New Orleans hosts the 3-0 New Orleans Saints. They host the 3-0 Miami Dolphins. And you know what? I'm going to pick Miami to win this game just because I believe in Miami and I hate New Orleans. That's a simple fact right there. We are done with NFL. I'm just playing. I really do think that Miami will. I think Miami may beat them. Honestly, I really do think Miami will beat them. It's because I think they're actually a really good team. To me, this is my opinion, man. You gotta go with it. You gotta respect the opinion. I mean, you have to respect the opinion. All right, so Thursday Night Football tomorrow night. Transitioning all the way back to NCAA football. That's right. We're jumping right into college. Actually, some games this week to actually look at, unlike last week when it was just a bunch of crappy games, 77 points per game. Thursday Night Football, I believe it'll be on ESPN. The Virginia Tech, this is good old ACC football right here, boys. Virginia Tech football, the Hokies head into Atlanta to take on the Yellow Jackets of Georgia Tech. This game will be awesome to watch because Hokies offense sucks. Their defense is great. Detroit. Detroit. It should have been Detroit. Good Lord. Jackets defense is not that good, but their offense is good. So we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens. a bad offense versus a bad defense, and a good offense versus a good defense. We'll see what happens. I think it will be a good game. But my pick, I'm going to pick the Hokies. No. I don't know. I like both teams. I can't. I think the Hokies will win just due to their offense. I mean, not due to their offense. Oh, dear God, no. Due to their defense. But if Georgia Tech wins, I'll be perfectly fine. My dad will have a cow over this game because he loves both teams. And so I'm going to be like on the phone with him. I'm going to be like, dude, you got to be watching this game because it's going to be awesome. That's what I'm going to literally call him up and I'm going to say that. I'm going to call him up and say that. So whoever wins, I'm going to be happy. I think the Hokies will win. Clemson heads into Wake Forest to take on the Demon Deacons. I think Clemson will win. Wake Forest has a really good defense, but their offense is pretty shaky. They have a lot of younger players on there. It reminds me of Georgia's defense. Yeah, Clemson will win just because I don't think the offense will do much against their defense. I could be wrong. Florida State heads into Boston College to take on the Eagles. Seminoles win. Seminoles win big at that. Now I'm not saying it will be a blowout right off the bat. I think that Boston College will play them really good for the first two quarters, and then after that, once they come back from halftime, especially if Florida State gets to toss at halftime and get the ball first in the third quarter, that's when the game will end. If they have to defer, I think Boston College will maybe put them on a run for their money, but I think Florida State will ultimately win this game. So I'm picking the Seminoles to win that game. Notre Dame and Oklahoma play this weekend. I believe it may be a Saturday night game because, they always cover Notre Dame football for some reason. I don't know why anybody want to look at freaking leprechauns. I'm going to pick Oklahoma to win. Oklahoma's going to win this game because I want them to win this game. And I hate both teams, but I want Oklahoma to win. Yeah, I'm just going to leave it at that. Yeah. Wisconsin heads into the Horseshoe, I believe. Is that a home team? Is that a home game? Let me check this real quick, because if that's a home game, oh my gosh, my phone. If that's a freaking home game, then freaking, I don't even know. Hold on real quick. So, Wisconsin heads into the Horseshoe. If Kenny Guyton, whatever you want to call it, whatever the heck his last name is, if he's playing, then they'll win. They will kill Wisconsin because he's a way better quarterback than Braxton Miller. But I'm gonna pick if he's not playing, I'm picking the Badgers to win this game and upset the number 4 team in the nation. I'm picking that. That's what I'm going to do. I'm going to pick the Wisconsin Badgers. I got to pick them. I have to pick the Wisconsin Badgers. There's no way I can't. I absolutely hate Ohio State. Hate them. And that brings me into a glorious topic of LSU versus UGA between the hedges here in Athens. Not here. I'm in Valdosta. It's not here. I had to hit my dog. Sorry. Not actually hit him, but, pop him on the nose. He was being annoying. I didn't actually hit my dog. I'm not an animal abuser. So if you guys think I was like, oh my God, I'm going to pop you right in the mouth. No, I didn't do that. I just pushed his mouth away. He kept on looking at himself. It's getting annoying. LSU and UGA. I hate both teams. I hate LSU and I hate Georgia. I really hate LSU. Anybody that likes LSU is just, oh God. All right, but I think LSU is going to win this game. I'm not going to root for either team. I'm not going to root for Georgia, and I sure as hell I'm not going to root for LSU. That is just a freaking fact. The reason why I say LSU is going to win this game is because Hill, that big old power back that he is going to kill that defense. They have a crappy secondary. Their linebacking core is absolute trash, and their offensive line is decent. But once there's a hole, it's gone. He's too good He's not too good, but you know what I mean. He's just such a power back that he's so powerful, he's so punishing, and he'll make them pay. I think LSU will walk it into the hedges, or between the hedges, and come out with a victory over the Georgia Bulldogs, boy. Ole Miss and Bama play each other. Now, this is actually an intriguing matchup to me. There's a lot of good SEC games this week. Ole Miss and Bama. Now, I think Bama will probably win this game, but I think Ole Miss is actually going to show the world that Bama's defense is actually pretty bad. Kind of like how Texas A&M did. Because Ole Miss has a running game. And Bama, unless they can step it up and do something, I think Bama will only win probably by a touchdown or maybe two. But Ole Miss is going to put everything on the line and just play their heart out. And the one reason why I think that Bama's really going to win is because it's in Tuscaloosa. So that's why. That's why I think they'll win. Florida, I believe, heads into Kentucky. This is where I think the upset is going to actually occur this weekend. Other than the Wisconsin game, maybe. Or if Georgia beats LSU for some reason, which LSU should probably just drop out of the entire race if Georgia beats them. I'm checking to see if it's in Kentucky. It is in Kentucky. Alrighty then. The Wildcats will beat Florida because Briscoe, however you want to say his last name, Skull. He's Skull. Ugh. Since he's not playing, they'll get beat. I'm picking the upset. Kentucky beats Florida. Kentucky beats Florida. Sounds crazy, but man, they played their balls off against Louisville. And Louisville's a lot better of a team than Florida is. Even though they don't play anybody. So some of the SEC teams don't play anybody either, especially the first freaking month of football. Oh, man. It ticks me off. It really ticks me off. Kentucky wins. I'm picking them. Picking them definitely. USC heads into Arizona State Sun Devil Stadium. I believe that's what they call it nowadays. I'm picking Trojans to win. I had to pick my Trojans. Even though Lane Kiffin's an idiot. Trojans win. That's enough said. Stanford and Washington State play. Now, Wazoo is a good team. They're 3-1. Stanford, I think, is a better team. I'm picking Stanford to win by a touchdown in that game. I believe it's in Wazoo, so Wazoo's going to have home field, but I think Stanford will win. I think Stanford will win that game, definitely. Oregon and California play. Oregon heads in to Cal Berkeley to play the Golden Bears. I'm going to pick Oregon. Mariota is masterful. He's my top Heisman guy. I don't even care about Johnny Football at this point. Mariota's got to be the man that gets it this year. That's all I'm going to say. Mariota wins the Heisman. I hope he does at least. But I think Oregon will win this game against California. Honestly, if the Golden Bears beat them, I'll be like, wow. Wow. But I don't know. Oregon's putting up like 77 points a game. Fresno and Hawaii play Sunday at 12. Sunday at 12. It may actually be a 12 a.m. game. Hold on real quick. Let me check this because it's actually kind of interesting. I was looking at it earlier. I was like, hold on real quick. I'll give you guys an update. Hold on. Let's see. We're going to head over to, what is that? Fresno State Mountain West. Let's see. Yeah. Fresno State and Hawaii play at 12 a.m. 12 a.m. Sunday morning on the East Coast. So it's a 3 o'clock game. Or it may actually be 6 hours away from us out in Hawaii. But I'm picking Fresno to win that game. That's an interesting. I've never seen that, I don't think, in my life. Never seen that before. A game played at 12 a.m. Eastern time, which is what I am. I'm picking Fresno to win. Fresno's a good team. They're scrappy and they have so much heart. It's beautiful. Heading over to Division 1AA, the Chattanooga Moccasins. I think that's what they're called. I don't even remember what their name is. Who cares? Chattanooga Lookouts is actually like the community college, I believe. Or it's actually the baseball team. I don't remember. Actually, no, I don't remember. Chattanooga heads into Georgia Southern. And I'm picking Georgia Southern to win this game. Even though, they lost to Wofford. I think Georgia Southern is a better team than Chattanooga. Who knows? Chattanooga may surprise us Georgia Southern wins. Sorry. And wins big at that. And then kind of a key thing, I really do want you guys to watch this game. Angelo State, who I have no idea who the heck they are. I believe they're the Rams. Head here to Valdosta State at a 7 o'clock kickoff. The game is on ESPN3, okay? We beat Shorter last week 41-0. So come out and support the VSU Blazers. Watch it on ESPN3. Gonna be a good game. VSU wins, of course. We're 2-peating. We'll probably 3-peat. Actually, you know what? I'm gonna say we're gonna repeat. We're gonna win a championship every single year that I'm here at college. So that's 4 times in a row. Actually, that's 5 times in a row. So actually, that's four times. 4 times or 5. That'd be 6 times in a row. Okay, if I'm here for 5 years, that's 6 times in a row. So VSU wins big, and watch it on ESPN3. Do it. If you don't, then you lost mad props from me. So we're kind of done with the whole football kind of predictions and stuff like that as I throw my good old pad away. No, it is not one of those man pads that Tony Syracuse has been talking about on TV. I just want to kind of wrap it up and say thank you guys for listening. And, it's been an interesting couple months, or basically a month, of football. It's almost been exactly a month since football returned to us, boys and girls. I don't know how many girls actually watch this or listen to this. Shout out to the ladies that listen to this. Thank God. Demographic is nice. So, football's been interesting the last couple months. Last month. It actually has been kind of interesting the last couple months. Yeah, a lot of trades, a lot of injuries, and training camp and stuff. But, just kind of looking back on it, I'm really excited about this year, like I have been the last couple of weeks. And I think it will be a good year. And, sadly, the Baltimore Orioles have been knocked out of the playoffs. But the Athletics got in. A lot of teams got in. Go watch the playoffs this year. I think it will be good. It will be good baseball this October and halfway through November, apparently, like it's supposed to be. But also, just remind you guys, stay safe and always be good to each other. Be respectful to everybody. It's not the nicest world out there, and it's always good to get a compliment every day from somebody. Random acts of kindness is definitely a good thing to do. You have a nice rack if you do it. Rack. R-A-K. Random act of kindness. Just do it. Let's do it. The world will be a better place. Let's do it. Thank you guys for watching and or listening or watching. Whichever you guys did. I really just need to get syndicated or something like that. Something to get this out there on the airwaves. Go out to the masses. That sounded really cheesy, and I really apologize for that. It sounded like a little bit like The Rock. And the millions and millions of The Rock's fans. But, he'll just go back to making bad Disney movies like he always does. Because, he's Dwayne Johnson. He probably has a big Johnson. Yeah. I'll leave it at that. Yeah, we'll talk about Dwayne Johnson's Johnson later on, I guess, in the series. But, yeah. Thank you guys for listening. And, as always, peace.